My wife's family needed help with school fees, hospital bills, even business capital. I said yes every single time. Until the day I said no and they made it feel like I never said yes at all. From the moment my plane touched down at Heathrow, I stopped being a person and became something else, a solution, a lifeline, a walking answer to everyone's silent prayers back home. No one asked if I was eating, if I had friends, if I was sleeping on a mattress or a borrowed floor. All they saw was abroad. And to them, abroad meant money. That was the beginning of the quiet unraveling, the part no one tells you about when they say, just go and hustle, your people will support you. But they don't tell you that sometimes, your people will be the ones to drain you dry. This story isn't about revenge. It's not even about anger. It's about the slow, painful process of learning that not every person you call family wants to see you well, some just want to see you useful. Until you aren't. And when that day comes, the silence is louder than anything you've ever heard. They always say the first breath you take when the plane lands in London feels like freedom. For me, it felt like obligation. I remember gripping the armrest as the wheels touched down. My palms were sweating. Not from fear of flying, no. I'd flown before. It was the weight of what I was carrying that scared me. 12 hours earlier, I'd been at Enugu airport with 27 prayers stitched into my shirt pocket. My wife tucked them in just before I left. Mama said I should sew my destiny into the hem of my jacket. My brother-in-law even whispered that if I made it, I should remember those who cleared the way. Whatever that meant. They saw my flight as the family's harvest. I saw it as my last chance. Back then, I believed going abroad was the most loving thing I could do. I wasn't running away, I was stepping up. For my children, for Ngozi, for all of them. That was the story I told myself, and everyone else. The truth, I was tired of being a man who couldn't provide. I wanted to walk into a bank and not feel like a joke. I wanted to buy my daughter new shoes without borrowing from my neighbor. I wanted my son to say, my daddy is in the UK, and not feel embarrassed. I just wanted to matter. In the early months, that pride carried me. Even when I slept on a mattress someone left beside a dustbin. Even when my first job involved scrubbing a restaurant kitchen from midnight to 6 a.m. for £5 an hour under the table. I told myself it was temporary. Every time I wired money back home, even if it was just 50,000, I imagined the smiles. I imagined the prayers that followed. The God bless you texts, the quiet approval in Mama's voice. And when they called me our Ginbo man at the village meeting, I swallowed it like praise. Nobody knew that I didn't own a winter coat, that I layered 3 shirts and a hoodie because I couldn't afford one. That some nights I'd come home so tired I'd fall asleep sitting on the floor, halfway through microwaving rice. But that was the agreement, wasn't it? You leave Nigeria, you don't complain. You succeed visibly loudly, or you're not just a disappointment, you're a disgrace. So I played the part. I sent money for school fees, even when I had to delay paying my rent. I sent money for Mama's blood pressure drugs, even though I hadn't seen a doctor in 2 years. I sent money to fix the leaking roof back home, while the rain was dripping into my own flat in Birmingham. But nobody asked. Nobody ever asked, not how are you coping, not are you eating, not even are you okay? They just asked, Chuka Biko, can you send small something this week? And I always did. Because how do you say no when everyone thinks you've made it? How do you explain that abroad doesn't mean abundance? I told myself it was love, that this was what men do, that I was the tree and they were the branches. But slowly I started to wonder, what happens when the tree runs dry? What happens when giving becomes surviving? What happens when they stop seeing you as a person and only as a provider? I didn't know it yet, but something inside me had already started to crack, and it was only a matter of time before it broke. It started like every other request. A voice note from Ngozi, her tone soft, almost apologetic. She said Mama's leg was swelling again, and the doctor said it might be kidney something. The hospital needed a deposit. School fees were also due for both the children, 420,000 combined. If I could just send 850,000 total. Full story on channel, link below.